Hello everyone, my name is Wallace Huey and I'm here today in the beautiful gazebo at the bottom of my garden, surrounded with the smell of the ashwood behind me and the gentle rustling of wind in the leaves of the acers outside my gazebo, to share with you the joy, the freedom and the love that comes from letting go. Before I took this video, my usual video partner had bowed out of doing videos with me. She was otherwise occupied, and so I just let go into the reality of that and decided to shoot my first video by myself on my own. The freedom and the joy of letting go. So it's a pleasure to speak with you and to connect with you over the internet. And so what can I share about letting go? Most of us hold our lives tightly gripped like this. We grip tightly. So if I was to pick this off the table next to me, we're gripping on to life like this. Afraid that if we loosen our grip, something terrible will happen. But actually, when you loosen your grip, what happens is you simply relax like that. And my hands opening out and loosening my grip allows my hand to open fully. So when we let go of our life and we follow it instead of chasing after it, it allows us to relax into the full freedom of the present moment. And as I sit here in the gazebo, I'm taking everything in. It's a beautiful environment. The gentle rustling of the leaves, the slight sound of a jet aeroplane overhead, and the lovely feeling of shelter from being under the eaves of my gazebo. So when we let go, we become aware, more aware of our environment, of the world around us, of people around us. And that means that our behavior is much more in tune, much more in harmony with the people that we associate with and with the environment that we find ourselves in. So, and when your behavior is in much more in harmony with the people in your life and the environment you're in, there's a natural joy arises within you, and there's a natural efficiency develops in your work and in your life. This efficiency is not something that is forced or the result of goals or being driven. It's rather an efficiency that arises from paying attention to each moment and responding to each moment appropriately with joy and freedom, as I mentioned. So the beauty of letting go. I'm a great one for learning from nature. And if we look at nature, if we have a pet dog or a pet cat, we'll notice that they are experts at letting go. For example, when you throw your ball up for your dog, the dog effortlessly jumps up and catches the ball perfectly. Every time, because it's not. Now, a human being doing that, especially if it's a competition, they'll think, gosh, I might drop this ball, or what will my friends think if I don't do this well, or how am I going to win this competition? But when an animal does it, it has no such concerns. It's got its focus and its attention on the trajectory of the ball, and it leaps effortlessly into the air, and your pet dog will catch the ball in its mouth perfectly every time. I'm sure you've seen it happen. If you don't have a dog that likes jumping, I'm sure you've seen other people in the park doing this. So the dog simply lets go to the moment, focuses on the task in hand, concentrates all his energy on that task, and gives himself wholeheartedly to it. And this is a great way to live. A great way to live our life in all circumstances. So as well as learning from our pets, we can learn from our work colleagues. When we're at work, it's a great time to connect and share projects and to feel that you're making a difference and you're making a contribution. And if you let go into your work environment and don't let the old chatterbox get in the way, but focus and pay attention to what's happening around you, to your work environment and to the tasks at hand, and don't get too distracted by the goals that somebody may have set you or you've set yourself. Much better to focus on, keep your attention on the present moment rather than the goal. Goals can be useful as kind of pointers, but in my opinion they're greatly overrated. Whereas if we progress our working life by paying attention, then we'll behave absolutely appropriately in every single moment, and then we'll get the best result. This makes sense to me anyway. And when I ran my company, I allowed people to work where they wanted, when they wanted, how they wanted. This was all before COVID kicked in, of course, a number of years ago. And people came and went in the office, and they worked all over the city. And when people came in, I would go into the office, so I'd be the regular person in the office, and I would be there between 9 and 5, so people could rely that if they needed help, they knew where to come. I was in the office, and they could come in and talk to me and get a decision or whatever. And by allowing people the freedom to be themselves and to work where they want, we got tremendous efficiency and great quality in the work that was done. And the beauty of that approach is that it's very, very easy on the CEO. I was the CEO at the time. And as the CEO, I simply just sat and looked out the window and watched the birds coming and going and landing on the grass. And because everyone in the company was aligned with the goals and vision of the company, because they were in charge of their own work and organizing it, and because they organized their own teams and working teams, the whole thing ran by itself. And I had very little stress, really none, no stress. There were one or two instances where there were difficulties arose and I had to be on the ball there, but for 3 years the company ran with practically no stress. And I know this is possible for all companies. We didn't have KPIs, we didn't have goal setting, we didn't have any of the usual paraphernalia of what's needed to motivate people. We simply allowed people to be themselves, to enjoy their work, and I let go and let them have that freedom. And when I walked into the office every day and people were coming and going, I would simply ask myself one question: is this person happy at their work? Are they happy? Are they enjoying it? And if not, I go over and have a little quiet word with them and find out why not. And the amount of enthusiasm we developed in our company was extraordinary. Real can-do attitude, you know. Without any of the usual paraphernalia of goals and all of that, simply by letting go and letting people be themselves, organize themselves, work to suit themselves. It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And that we built the company built its training over 3 years using that approach, and I'll never forget it. It was so effortless. So that's the beauty of letting go, and that's the power of letting go. So I'll leave you with a few thoughts, and maybe think, where in your life can you experiment with letting go instead of clinging to the result and stressing over the result? Where can you let go, relax, and let life unfold, and you pay attention and you become a sailor rather than a powerboat driver. So instead of driving the powerboat, you sail the boat and you tack with the wind, and you let things unfold, and you simply intervene to the minimum amount to help them along. That's letting go, and that brings great joy to our life and to our work. So I'll leave you with those thoughts. So Wallace, Huey here, and I'll see you again.